Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast, today's Game 7 Tournament Wrap-Up Show, powered by Game 7 Baseball, Game7Baseball.com. We had a great weekend. We got out there, didn't we, Lauren? Huzzah! Didn't rain, and we had a beautiful weekend. It was a lot of fun. Saturday, we had some great opportunities to talk with players and at the ballpark. Had some great interviews. If you want to watch those, go check it out. It's up on the channel here after this, though. And go watch some of the interviews from Saturday. We had a great time out there at the park on Saturday. And Sunday was a really good championship game. We had a great time at the championship game. And moving on we'll get to that here in just a moment, our tournament outstanding player and our player of the game.
So we opened up in 2019, and basically there was a void in the area. I mean, we saw that there was an opportunity to have a retail store where people could come in and actually touch and feel the tangible object that they're buying.
And when we talk about our tournament outstanding player, we got some picks, we got some stuff. There's some interviews up from this weekend as well with those gentlemen and our player of the game as well. So got some great stuff for you here. And we're going to start. We had 3 tournaments throughout the state, starting up in Quincy with the Dogwood Classic. And anybody that knows when you've been on the golf course around the dogwoods, do not use a white golf ball. It's not good. You have to use an orange or a bright yellow.
Is that like golfing in the snow?
It is like golfing in the snow. There was a golf course where I lived up in Manhattan. I was working for a company, and it was lined with dogwoods, and you did not play with a white golf ball because you couldn't find it. I mean, right in the middle of the fairway. I don't see my ball anywhere. It's crazy.
I can't golf, so that's good.
And, yeah, there you go. So we're going to start, though, with, I thought it was a cool thing. Q-Town Tournaments did a 9U home run derby at the Dogwood Classic, which I think is really cool. And the 9U home run derby champion was Joey. I'm hoping, Lauren, that I'm going to pronounce this correctly. Dwellman. It's Doellman. If I blew that up, please let me know. It's fine. I hate to get people's names wrong, right?
Yeah.
I understand. From the 9U Mayhem Baseball. And here's what's cool. In second place, the finalist, and I'm sorry, man, these names are, that's brutal. Cirrin Cione, Cirrincione.
Cerrone?
No, because you have a Cirrin, Cirrincione, I guess.
Cirrincione.
I would say that's about it. But check this out. He's 8U. He's a finalist. He was up there in the 9U Derby, wanted to get in it and hitting some bombs. Finished second, man.
I'm looking at them kids. There's some thick kids.
Yeah. Hey, baby, it's bomb day,
Hey, whatever.
right? That's what we do around here. We hit dingers.
Yes.
Ta-da!
I like that. That's pretty cool.
That is cool,
They don't do that every weekend, right?
No, this is the first one I've seen, and I mean, we get Darren let us know, but I think that's cool, right?
I think it's awesome. It's like a little bit of a showcase, like they do for the World
extra.
Series. Yeah, a little bit of fun and excitement to start the tournament off. I think it's pretty awesome.
Absolutely. So we're going to start with Q-Town, and we're going to start with the 8U machine pitch. And that same Quincy Mayhem team took the championship 11-3 over the Kirksville Kings to win the 8U machine pitch championship. Tongue-tied, baby. I got to slow down, Mitch. In the 9U division, we had the Missouri Gators, 9U, Coach Houston, number 1 seed, the Legends Baseball, the number 2 seed, Quincy Mayhem, and then Bombs Away. We met that gentleman up. That team was on our Q-Town Winter Workout Tour. There it is. Thank you, Lauren. She's like, winter workout.
He went from talking too fast to talking a little too slow.
I got so many things going on in my brain right now, dude. It's not even funny. We're going out to the ball game today. Woo.
It's only just
Bombs
begun.
Away. I know. And so let's look at this. Our first bracket here. Mo Gators 14-2 over the Nemo Hitmen. And the Legends 10-5 over Quincy Mayhem 9U. And the Mo Gators, Coach Houston squad, takes the championship 13-5 over Legends Baseball.
I don't want to make an assumption. Is that from the area?
What's that?
The Missouri Gators team? Is that from
they're
our area?
Wentzville.
Okay.
Wentzville. Yep. That's a Gator squad out of GBA.
Just wanted to make sure. You don't want to assume.
No. 12U, 5 teams, the West Central Elite, number 1 seed, and the it is Chatham Braves red in the 2 seed. So we go down here to the bracket in the top semifinal, West Central Elite 14-2 over the Greyhounds, and the Chatham Braves lose to the Ilmo Storm. Wait a minute.
That's Illinois, Missouri.
It's got to be out of Quincy, Illinois. So they must have kids from both sides of this, I would imagine, because Hannibal's right there.
Yeah.
It's not very far.
You got Louisiana and up and down. You have small towns all the way through there between Hannibal and basically Troy.
Right.
A bunch of small communities, Ellsbury, Louisiana, Bowling Green's all through there.
So
I think that's where that Nemo Hitmen are from too.
Okay, Northeast Missouri, yeah. So the West Central Elite take the championship 13-5 over the Ilmo Storm to finish out the 12U championship and finish out the Quincy's Dogwood Classic. So big stuff there. Darren will try and get him on next Saturday and maybe get some updates there. Love what you did with the home run derby, dude. That was cool. Was cool.
I think it's awesome. And did they have that when you looked at the Facebook? Did they do that the day prior, or did that kind of lead off the morning?
I didn't see.
Okay.
I would imagine
I'm
they
being
probably
nosy
did that
there.
in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. We saw that on Facebook and we thought that was cool. So we wanted to bring that to bear. So then Mr. Penning was down in Quincy. Or down at Lake of the Ozarks. Dear Jesus, help me. I don't even know who I am anymore. There you go. Jiminy Pete. I'm going to pull this up because I wanted to do this because Mr. Penning sent me an email. Last night we were going back and forth a little bit. I'm sorry I didn't get back to you, Dave, on the phone, but when I did, I was cooking I was cooking dinner for my wife. Golly. I can't talk anymore.
I feel like yeah, he didn't.
I think it might be too much. I'm thinking I'm working on my 4th cup of coffee, Lauren.
Oh man. He's going to be on a roll tonight. He's going to crash in the middle of the game.
Too much. Stop it. Too much. But we're going to go down here. Dave had sent me an email. There was an emergency. There was an issue that happened. I didn't quite get to the issue, but there was an emergency happen. I don't know if it was a player or whatnot, but Dave wanted me to give a shout out to the guys at Ballparks National, how well they handled this emergency. I would imagine it was a player that got hurt or something. He said they handled it fantastically, got taken care of. Everything's good that way. But he just wanted us to give a shout out to those guys at Ballparks National for the way they handled that emergency. So that's always tough when you have these little kids playing this game. I mean, this is one of the things I always did. I've heard coaches say this, and I never wanted to do it when I started. You have all these little kids. They're scared of a baseball. And with good reason. Because it does hurt. Don't tell the kid it doesn't hurt, because when he gets hit with it, it depends on where. When he gets hit, he goes, "Coach just lied to me." And how do you trust a person that's telling you that didn't hurt, but it did hurt, and I'm down at first base crying because I'm 8? I always took a baseball and I'd get the kids around and I'd start here and I said, "Here, you feel that, right?" And I'd have them pass it around. I go, "Now, that baseball's hard, right?" "Yeah." "It will hurt if it hits you to one degree or the other, depending on how hard it is or pitched or hit."
Or where.
I said, "This is why we have a glove. And this is why we learn how to throw correctly.
And catch correctly.
And catch correctly, yes." And I would say that to them. So they understood, yep, it hurt. But the reason why we are learning to throw and catch properly.
My favorite, I have to say this because I'm getting back into coaching younger age groups now, and you have to start having conversations about how to catch. And I watched a young man catch like this, right at his face, like a ball thrown right here. Instead of having a thumb under, he had it like this. And I told him,
that's a broken nose waiting to happen.
I said like 5 times. I said, "Buddy," I was like, the last time I was kind of heated because he wouldn't make the adjustment. I said, "It's going to happen. You're going to wear one in the face. You're going to cry. It's going to hurt. It's going to do this. You got to turn the glove over. Like, it's not an option." He took one more, and on the 6th throw, it hit him right in the eyeball. Oh. And he come back, and he thought it was the coolest thing, though, to have a black eye. I was like, "No, dude, like, you still got to get your thumb under." But he's like a hockey player. He's 9 years old, He already face washes people, and slashes people, so he's not worried about getting a little bit of black eye, but he has not flipped his glove over like that yet again. So he's not catching like this. He is still catching
Maybe
like that.
Maybe sometimes that's what it takes, You would hope they would just listen.
Well, it was funny to me because I chuckled because it's like part of me was mad because he didn't make the adjustment. I mean, he is 9. I'm supposed to, I guess, give him the benefit of the doubt. I just didn't want the kid to get hurt.
Absolutely.
If it just moved, just like you said, a slight half an inch over, it's a broken nose, not a black eye.
Lake of the Ozarks, Cinco de Mayo down there, Ballparks National, Penning was down there. 9U sees, let's go first bracket here. The number 1 seed, the Northeast Arkansas Heat, lose to the Crushers 8-6. And Gamers Baseball, Gamers Academy, beats the Missouri Midwest Marucci Capitals 19-11. That was a slugfest. And a barn burner for the championship game here, Mitch. Gamers Academy over the Crushers 12-11.
I'll take that. I saw a lot of, there was obviously a bunch of different tournaments this past weekend for Cinco de Mayo all over, different organizations. A lot of high scoring games to get into the championships of some of these. And I'm asking, I was like, "Hey, are you losing because of running out of pitching?" They're like, "No, some of these teams can just flat rake." And next thing you know, when you have to go, tit for tat there, you start getting these high games.
I think at this age, hitting is much better than pitching, regardless.
Oh, yes.
It just is. So let's move to the, I think, was it 10U, Lauren? Yes, 10U. 10U division, let's start with the top semifinal. Again, the Northeast Arkansas Heat was the number 1 seed in the 10U division, beating the Yellow Jackets of Lebanon, Missouri, 9-6. And then you had Rawlings Tigers of St. Louis, Missouri. I believe that was St. Louis. Let's take a look at that one real quick, Mitch. Wildwood. Yep, there you go. Taking on the Southern Boone Eagles, which I would imagine is probably a feeder team for Southern Boone High School. I would imagine, right? You know, in those smaller towns like that, you're probably going to see more of those types of things. Ashland Moe, which is where Southern Boone High School is. And
great county, by the way. It's a small town, but it's a great county.
So, but Rawlings Tigers 8-7 over Southern Boone. Good game right there. Northeast Arkansas takes the championship game 13-3 over the Rawlings Tigers. Coach Bodorf, if I mess that up, Coach, my bad. Maybe I ought to quit saying names. There you go.
Just Coach B.
Coach B, there you go. 11U baseball. We got down at Ballparks National on Field 4. Nixa Baseball Club, Nixa High School feeder club there, 11U. 14-2 over the LOZ Legends. LOZ.
Lake of the Ozarks.
Good man. The Maumelle, or is it Maumelle? I'm not quite sure. We're going to look at that and see where that's at. Let's do that, Mitch, because I think that's it's Arkansas, Maumelle or Maumelle. I'm not quite sure which it is, but it's the Bulldogs. Coach Park's squad beats the Northwest Arkansas Lugnuts, one of my favorite youth names, 12-9.
Yeah.
Gets into the championship and falls to the Nixa Baseball Club 9-4. Nixa takes the championship down there.
They got a good thing going down there.
Yeah, they do. And their high school team is really good. I think they've lost 4 games this year.
I think that as well, their Legion teams are still solid down there, right?
No.
No, they're not?
Legion. Well, that's
Okay.
another discussion. We'll get to that.
I was going with the leading into. I thought that was still relevant.
We'll talk
down
about
there.
that. That's a good discussion we need to have, Mitch. I agree. 12U guys. Slid right by that. There's that Northeast Arkansas Heat. That's good. They've been the number 1 seed. Now, not necessarily come out on top every time, but they were the number 1 seed in each of these brackets. That's very good. That's solid. You know, we always look at the championship, but you know, you're finishing pool play at the top in 3 out of the 4 divisions so far. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just a matter of who you play in bracket or in pool play. Sorry, and that might be artificial 2-0. You know what I mean? If you're playing a team that's not as good,
right? I agree with you.
And you just get the lucky draw, and then you go run into a buzzsaw first game. You know, it's like, well, wait a minute, maybe we're not as good, but they're showing that they have the ability to run the bracket as well as the pool play.
And this shows some depth here because they defeated the Flash 9-1 in the first semifinal. Number 2 seed Columbia Aces fall to the Stoughton Storm 6-3, and the Stoughton Storm fall to Northeast Arkansas Heat 9-1. 9-1. So they ran it all the way to the championship undefeated. I love that.
They can score and shut it down.
Yeah, they can because 9-1, you know, they scored runs.
Yeah, I think in
they
their
can
pool,
pitch.
I was going to say in their pool play games, I thought they had given up single digits too, if I read that right. 14 or 4 runs.
Yeah, they only gave up 4 runs against in the 2 pool play games.
Where's that Columbia Aces team from?
Columbia Mo.
Okay.
Columbia Mo. And that Northeast Arkansas team, that's Pocahontas, Arkansas. There you go. Aaron Brooks is the coach, AAA squad out of Arkansas. So congrats. Look forward to seeing those guys a little bit more. Good showing down there. Love that. Love this one because the Mineral Area Dirty Birds, we talked about them. They were down there. 13U championship. U.S. Nationals Midwestern. That's the western part. That's Blue Springs Mo. We talked about those guys. Matt McClure, I believe, is the coach's name. Yep, Matt McClure. Southwest Missouri Bombers. That's a good small program down there in Springfield. Wilson Josh, head coach. Or it might be Josh Wilson. That might be backwards. Eastern Iowa Thunder, top 4 seeds there, Mitch.
Iowa.
Yeah.
That's got to win for the longest drive, I'm assuming.
I would imagine so, yes. They lose in the first semifinal to the Mineral Area Dirty Birds 12-0. And then down in the second semifinal, the U.S. Nationals Midwestern 8-3 over the South.
I was trying to look up Coach Aaron Brooks because I believe that he is a
Let me finish this
former
first.
big leaguer.
Hold on there.
Sorry.
Might be. U.S. Nationals Midwestern 8-3 over the Southwest Missouri Bombers. Here's a good championship game. 4-2 U.S. Nationals Midwestern over Mineral Area Dirty Birds for the 13U championship. Love that championship game there. That show a 4-2. That was really two teams that you doing some. There was some good pitching,
good defense, timely hitting, 2-out hitting. Probably
that's baseball.
2 strike, 2-out hitting. I bet
right?
there's a lot of that.
There you go.
One walk probably cost one of the 2 of those runs, and so I love that though. You're seeing though is from 8U to getting up to the 12U as baseball starts to change, as you get bigger, faster, stronger. Games are changing too. The scores aren't 12-11.
You get them, but if that's what you're looking for, if you got the championship, you might have a kid that you run into just a buzzsaw as a pitcher at 12 or 13.
Yeah,
that happens. But for the most part, those teams, and you get in those championship games, and you're seeing that, like you said. I thought you listed that out perfectly. That's baseball.
That's baseball. I mean, I got beat 22-0 in a championship game that I won't forget. Still, that's been a year and a half ago.
Yes, that one still sits in your craw, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
That's okay.
We did better next time.
Moving along here to O'Fallon, Missouri. That's where we were. Saturday was great, as we talked about at the top of the show. We had a lot of fun. The 7U machine pitch, the 18U machine pitch, and the 14U AA were over at C&H. So we're going to start. We'll go in H session, but I wanted to say they were. So we didn't see much of them on that side. But starting with the 7U machine pitch over at C&H.
It was a big pool.
Yes, you had a silver bracket and you had a championship bracket. And Lauren, which do you have first there? The silver?
We can go silver.
Yeah, let's start with the silver bracket. The Missouri Gators, 7U, Coach Allen. I'm going to say they probably walked it off here, Mitch. Beating the Bluff City Sox 24-22. That is definitely a 7U machine pitch game. I love that stuff.
How many runs scored did you have this tournament? 138 in 4 games.
I love it. I think because that's the fun part about this age group. It is what it is. It is a 24-22 ball game. And them kids was just as happy as,
the chaos that had to probably go along with that. I wonder if like a kid had ran backwards, instead of running to first base, went to third base. Then they got in a rundown somehow. And
you never know.
Well,
it's fun.
No, this is what I love about T-ball and stuff, The kid hits the ball and he runs out and gets it. Like that's the kind of stuff that
throws himself out.
I envision, and that 24-23 or whatever, the 24-22 score, that's what I feel like is something like that happened.
In the championship bracket, we had Missouri Gators coach Elmendorf, and I believe that's from I think it was at Troy, I believe. Midwest Rebels, 7U Walters, Elmendorf squad, 14-9, little better. You can see the difference in the silver to the championship bracket. 14-9, but still a lot of runs scored, but a close game. Elmendorf's Gators take the championship there, 14-9. 8U machine pitch. We just had the one bracket. The Rawlings Tigers win the championship 15-5 over the Adidas Athletics. Right there, that shows you that the Tigers there, I would say, probably play a little better defense, getting some outs, right?
That's
just the way it is. When I talk about these things, I know it's hard because it's 8U and we talk about these things, but you try and surmise a few things, and because it's machine pitch, and I think most of these kids hit the ball. And at this age level, if you can play a little defense, you can win a lot of baseball games.
Well, they shut out a team. I think that's pretty
Yes,
hard to
they
do.
did.
And in machine pitch, so
12-0,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So there you go. Good call. I didn't see that. I was just
clearly
looking
they
at
can
that.
play a little D.
And that kind of shows you right there, Mitch.
Or maybe,
So-
looking at kind of,
because here the Adidas Athletics Bell had won a game 16-1, and they'd won. So there you go. So that shows you. And in the other games, 20-12 or the Midwest Rebels. So you get an idea that team does have a little more of an idea of defense than some of the other teams at this age level.
mm-hmm.
And that's great. I think that's fantastic. So let's head to the 9U division where they start pitching. The old 46, 4650? No, 4660, excuse me, base paths.
Still too far to run.
4660. Too far. You're like the slow pitch softball. Let's hit it out and move on.
No, I don't want to do that either anymore.
Okay. 9U, AA, over at Ozzy's E. The Midwest Rebels take out the St. Louis Naturals 13-3 to get to the championship game. The U.S. Nationals 9-4 over the Missouri Gators. And the U.S. Nationals take the championship over the Midwest Rebels 15-7 for the 9U AA championship game. Now let's head to the 11U. And we've got the Ozzy D, 5 teams in this one. We got the pictures to prove it, don't we, Lauren? The Apaches, and that's I was talking to the coach over there. They were part of what was Culberson's 314 Apaches. They still got the gear and all that, and the coach said, there wasn't no sense in doing that, so we just stayed the Apaches. I said, that's great stuff, Coach. They had a group of kids that enjoyed playing together. I love that part of it. Good for them. They beat the Wildcats 11-3 in the first semifinal. The Midwest Rebels 9-6 over Recruits Baseball in the second semifinal. And the Apaches win the championship over the Midwest Rebels 7-4.
It's a good game.
Good game in the old championship.
There was a lot of parity in that pool as well. Every team was 1-1.
There you go. You're correct. And the Apaches came out as the number 1 seed, giving up the least amount of runs against. There you go. All right, 12U. Midwest Rebels 12U was the number 1 seed, and they beat the Rawlings Tigers 7-6 to get to the championship game. The DeSoto Battle Dragons are a good buddy over there. Tim Kazmarzik.
You know how to say that because he made sure you knew.
No, his little girl, dude, they came over on Saturday. Oh my gosh, that was so fun. She keeps those, she's only maybe 2, and she's keeping those boys in line. Mm-hmm. These are my boys. That's what she was saying. She kind of whispers it. These are my boys. It was so great.
I love kids.
Hilarious. She's
Lauren
such a
goes,
doll.
She's like this.
Yeah. She's just a little teeny, and she's it was so cute, man. So it was great to see the Battle Dragons. They, unfortunately, and fortunately for the Midwest Rebels, Coach Grosh's team, took the championship over the Battle Dragons 19-7 there. But it was good to see Tim and his team. We got to see the kids and talk to them a little bit for the first time. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
12U, AAA Major. Of course, saw Coach Delcourt. Hadn't seen him in a while. His clutch team is very good. That's a good squad. And this was a good bracket here, Mitch. And Coach Delcourt's clutch was the number 1 seed. They beat the Missouri Gators Coach Collier's squad 9-5, first semifinal. And this game, this Hawks team, I saw Coach Guccione for the Nationals.
I gotcha.
Talked to him a little bit, and he said that Hawks team was good. They and the Nationals lost to him in that bracket play, 11-10, and so they were in the semifinal. Got beat by the Naturals 5-4, and that Hawks team is from Hillsboro, Missouri. Jason Reese. So that's a good squad down there, one to watch. It'd be interesting. Delcourt squeaks by the Naturals 12-11.
That had to be a good game.
There was some hitting going on
Yeah.
there. And that might, you in this kind of bracket, there was a lot of good teams, a lot of close scores. So you're using up pitching, Mitch. There was probably a lot of single innings, 2 innings going on there for that championship, though. So congrats to the Clutch Baseball Coach Delcourt squad for the championship there.
Was that Steve Collier for the Gators?
Let's take a look. I think that's I'm
It's
not
got
sure.
the assistant. Yeah, I'm not sure that's how you spell his last name anyways. I just was curious.
Yeah. 13 UAA. The Tribe Black, the number 1 seed. And we had dude, that right there was so much fun. If you haven't watched it yet, folks, go watch the last interview with a couple of young men from that Tribe team. It was hilarious. It was Chase Borders, I believe it was his name, right? Yes. It was Chase Borders. And then the coach's son was there, Trey Goodson. This Chase Borders, man, he was yo-yo. He was hipping and hopping. He was so much fun to talk to, dude. You got to go check out that interview. It was a lot of
I didn't
fun.
see that one. I'll have to go back and watch.
I saved it for last because he ended the show. And it was funny because Trey Goodson, he says, I'm going to do a fake mic drop in my glove.
So they have a little fun.
They were cracking me up, dude. It was hilarious. Basic famous, right. And so we got the Tribe Black made it to the championship game, beating the Eureka Wildcats 12-2. The Millstat Explosion 6-2 over Merrimack River Dogs. And the Millstat Explosion takes the championship game 12-1.
Millstat's got they're some farm boys. You know, they got that small town. They just produce athletes over there. Millstat was one of the biggest competitors for us for adult baseball.
Is that right?
And playing in Montclair League. They just keep that in Columbia, Illinois. Just seems like they can keep pushing these nice players out there.
Very good. So let's go to the AAA 13U. There was 4 teams in the AAA, and the Gamers Gray beat Grind, the St. Louis Grind, Coach Matz's squad, 16-5 to take home the 13U championship for the Cinco de Mayo Slugfest.
I like what they do. I know Dave's talked about that a few times. If there's a small division, they kind of change the
format
a little bit. That looked like a little bit of a round robin, and the 2 best teams had played.
Yeah, because agreed. Yeah, exactly, Mitch. 14U, AA was over, as we said, at C&H. They were playing on Field 1. And the Midwest Rebels, Coach House's squad, was the number 1 seed. And they lose to the Rawlings Tigers, Coach Steinman's clubs, 8-7. And then the Red Bud Aces out of Red Bud, Illinois, beat the Recruits, Coach Clement's squad, 10-6 in the second semifinal, which the Red Bud Aces, boy, they showed up 12-1 over Rawlings Tigers and finished off with the championship there.
I think that's a couple of weeks in a row that we've heard that name at that age group, victorious.
Coach Danny Mall, AA squad out of Red Bud, Illinois. So hopefully we'll get to see them again, right? Look forward to that because we got some Saturdays coming up in a row. We'll be out at the Midland next week, and we can all, because usually they split them up. We'll either, if we're at Bridgeton, we'll have whatever group is there, whether it be AA or AAA, and whatever is at C&H. That's usually kind of what ends up happening. So we'll just have to see, what we are able to do that way. We had the AAA this week at Ozzy's on Field A. Ozzy's they got that place looking pretty good. Field A looks really nice. It does.
I like hitting in it.
Well, we saw a bomb. 14U though, you're hitting at 325. That's still a pretty good shot. 14U, right?
It's over the fence.
Right. That's what I'm saying, dude.
Regardless if it's 280 down the line, I mean, still went over the fence.
Still a bomb. We had a great best uniforms of the weekend, folks. We've been talking about this. Goes to the SEMO Tropics. We did not get a picture.
So did you think they...
Well, but we do have the interview with the SEMO Tropics.
Did you think they look like the City Connects for San Diego?
Better. I don't like the San Diego City Connects. I think they're horribly ugly.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can buy that. So when I first learned about the Tropics, they're again in the Montclair League, adult baseball. That's why I was curious, is this a trickle-down thing? Because some of those coaches that are playing are having these youth teams, and they have the same exact uniforms. But apparently this Tropics team has got quite a following.
Oh, yeah. And the thing of it is, I liked their Saturday unis better than their Sundays, but they had pink, but it was pinstripes. So, a little aversion to pinstripes.
Even
but
pink
it
ones?
was still pretty cool, I must say. I was like, it was sharp. It was a good look.
So did you give in to the pinstripes a little?
Well, they won the best unis on the merit of the Saturday with the palm trees. It was killer.
That's the one that's the white, right? They had
It was black.
Oh, it's black.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
the
gotcha.
pink.
So they changed that up a little bit. They were white, I think, last year. That's why I thought they were similar to the City Connects, because the colorway, the pink, the yellow, the orange, and stuff was there last year. Because we saw some Tropics teams out on the field.
And it might be different age groups. I don't know. But
Yeah.
this one, it was killer. So
I need to see
congrats
them.
to the SEMO Tropics, best uni of the weekend. Thought I'd forget that, didn't you? No, I would not. Let's go to the championship bracket. The SEMO Tropics were the number 1 seed, but they fell to the St. Louis Prospects, Coach Nick Post's squad, 9-0 in the first semifinal. And I think that was interesting. The Prospects, they play good baseball. And this was the only they were originally double A. They've gotten moved up because they were having a lot of success and winning. And that's kind of what Game 7 does. So the challenge now, we got to go compete. And they showed, they've played a couple in the AAA. And we were talking to Mason Sabin, who was our player of the game there. And he said, the first couple weeks, it was a little tough. He says, but we're starting to get some momentum. He said, this is great for our confidence. We can play at this level. And I think that's true of anything, right? When you move up in divisions.
Well, you're going to want to. And it's something that we'll talk about later is about transitioning and getting prepared for high school ball. Because I know that young man's got a brother that's a sophomore starting at Timberland. And so he knows what it's like. And you want to prepare them guys. You don't want to compete at the AA level. You want them challenged.
I agree. And so the Rawlings Tigers, Coach Dan Kriegmeyer's squad, 5-3 over the Adidas Athletics Coach Bell's squad, walked it off bottom of the 7th inning. They were down 3-2. It was. And Patrick Longo was up with 2 on, hit a smoking. I mean, that ball was hit hard, line drive, in the gap, to the fence, scored the 2 runs, and walked it off. So congrats to Patrick Longo. That was a big moment. And we'd talked to Patrick Longo the day before at Saturday. Nice young man. So it's cool to get, you get to meet these kids. We get to do the interviews, and then we see them on the field doing those things. It's really kind of cool, Mitch. It really is. And then championship game, the Prospects jumped out to a 2-1 lead. Or 2-0 lead. Kriegmeyer squad scored a run. It was 2-1, but I think Kriegmeyer squad just a little bit got a big inning in the third. Got out 6-3. They scored one more. The final was 7-3 Rawlings Tigers. But it was a good baseball game. It wasn't a lot of this or that. It just timely hitting. those types of things.
Yeah, watching that game early on because stream live or whatever, and you saw, and I was like, man, this prospects team is going to run away with it because Rawlings had started a little shaky,
Yes.
in my opinion. Some things
I
happened. We
agree.
saw some of the miscommunication things. I was like, oh man, are they just out of gas or what? And then obviously they showed the ability to shut that down and come back and take that win.
Hey, and I thought it was interesting when we saw those things happening. I saw Coach Kriegmeyer with his squad. It was, not bad. Hey, let's go. He kept moving the kids past those things. Move past your mistakes. Move past it. Let's play the next one. And that, as it went, they did get past it and were able to continue and have success and win the ball game. But our top award winner, who's entered into the Super 7 scholarship contest, Billy Brown, in that first inning, man, number 2, he hit a bomb. And really enjoyed watching that. It was a good game. It was a lot of fun. Great weekend. Rawlings Tigers take the championship game there for the Cinco de Mayo. And so don't want to, put that up there, Lauren, the pick with Billy Brown. It's already there. Of course it is. Mason Saban. If you haven't seen the interviews, when you're done here, go check them out. They're up on the channel right now. Go watch these interviews. Mason Saban, this young man is very well spoken, really insightful. He was talking about the team and where they're going. Really enjoyed that conversation. Billy Brown, same way, talking about their teams. And it's really great getting to know these young men. And as we follow them into high school baseball, Mitch.
I am one of the things I pay attention to in these interviews, and I got a chance to watch those, and especially the ones in high school, how you're watching some of these better players on how they handle themselves outside of the game, and then how they get on the microphone. Of course, some of them are a little intimidated by it, right? It's the first time on there. It's like sometimes it's harder to speak in the microphone than it is to play the game for some of these kids. But the things and the maturity that they talk about, the team first mentalities, you're seeing why these kids are the talents that they are. They put certain things first.
Yep.
And it is worth the watch. It's not very long. If you got 15 minutes of your time, you can watch a whole lot of interviews to see what I'm talking about. And I'm just super happy for these young people. And then great job, parents, coaches.
Absolutely.
On how they're teaching these kids.
And a big shout out to all the coaches. Thank you very much for allowing us to talk to the kids and bringing them over and getting, being involved in that. And big shout out to Coach Nick Post and Dan Kriegmeyer for allowing us to take the time, because the time between the championship and all that is very limited. Between that semifinal, they were very gracious and really helped and were very helpful in getting us the lineups and all of that stuff. So I appreciate that very much, gentlemen. It is great. So it's great that we're getting the cooperation from the coaches, that we can put this out. And these kids, it's just a lot of fun.
They might like it more than we do.
I think it's great.
I have a blast doing this, but this is an opportunity to showcase young people, and it's to them. It's just say, hey, this is my first opportunity, maybe playing a little bit on TV, if you will.
That's right.
I know that it's streamed on YouTube, but at the end of the day, like, that can go to your TV, that can be watched later down the road, and these kids get to shine and have those moments. And plus, coaches can go back and play them.
Yes, and you can look at something. I mean, we're trying to get the best pictures as possible. We're working on that and looking at the future and seeing how we can get better. So we hope to do that as we move forward as well. So to create even a better viewing opportunity.
Yeah, she does a really nice job of being able to see a base hit, and whatever button she presses that pans to the ball. I don't know if I'm assuming there's a button being pressed.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, yes. I'm like, most of the time she's like, spot on. Contact, boom, the button's hit, and I'm hitting the table. I think I just busted my nail. But I getting a chance to sometimes rewatch, because I get nervous on even calling games with you, and I want to go back and hear how sometimes I sound. And I'm like, man, I sound ridiculous or whatever. But I use those for learning tools. I will literally, I have built and designed the videos or the games for my teams to build my groups, to see certain situations and show them that still, even at the highest levels, people make mistakes. This is how you deal with them, because body language is big.
Folks, thanks for tuning in today. That's going to be it for the Game 7 wrap-up show. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. Mitch and I are going to be back talking some youth baseball here on Youth Baseball Talk, so make sure you tune in for that. That'll be 3 p.m. Wednesday, Central Standard Time. And so for everybody out there, we appreciate it. It was a great weekend. Dave and Dave getting it done. Make sure you check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and whatnot. And a big shout out to our partners, Prime Sports Midwest. If you're needing anything baseball related, check them out. 1550 Ocello Drive, Fenton, Missouri. Everybody have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, keep throwing strikes, and hitters,
Hit them 320. They go over Ozzy's field A.
that'll get her done. We'll see y'all next time.